Okay, let's do a real quick update here. And these are my indoor plants, right? Okay, so I tried to propagate rosemary. This came from my aunt's rosemary plant, and as you can see, pretty sure they've died. Now, it was March when I took them, and she lives in southern Oklahoma. It was pretty warm when we were down there. However, I really just think that the plant was probably still in its dormant phase, so that might be part of my problem. Then we have this, and I forget what it's called right now, but I did a whole video, I'm pretty sure, on trying to propagate these. I'm not so sure that these are gonna take off or not. I did take them out of the water because one of the ways you can propagate them is in water, and that wasn't doing anything. So I stuck them in some soil I had here, and they don't seem to be doing anything either. I think I'm gonna move them out to my back patio, see if maybe the sunlight will help. Maybe they're missing that because obviously we're in a window that faces south, but we're just now starting to creep into, that springtime where the sun will come in this window. And the fact that I have a roof, an awning over my porch. So I think I'm gonna put them out on the back patio and see if anything goes ahead and comes. Now this is my Christmas cactus. I actually bought it at Christmas. It might have flowered, I can't remember. And then it kind of just quit, which obviously is pretty normal because hello, it's a Christmas cactus and they go into a dormant phase, right? Well, for some reason, it absolutely loves this window, and it has been blooming like this since March, I believe. So I don't know what its problem is, but I love it, and it's so much fun. I do think I need to water it, and that'll make it happier. Then I bought an aloe plant, and it's really funny because I had it facing the other direction. So this side here was facing into the house, and the plant was actually growing toward the window. So I turned it around to try and see if I could straighten it back up, and I'm telling you, it is straightening back up. But I bought this aloe plant, and it seems to be doing well as well. I think I really ought to buy a bigger pot for it. I think it needs a bigger pot. And I have accidentally put too much water in there, and it completely landed all over my seal here. My windowsill, not seal. Whew, goodness. And then my little one, she wanted a succulent. Now, she wants this to be an indoor succulent, and I'm really thinking that it ought to go outside. So I don't know what we're going to do. It does need a bigger pot, obviously, but we haven't found one that she wants just yet. Indoor, we have, we named him, and I think he needs to go outside. It's finally getting warm enough. It is a palm tree. I bought it in Houston. I did look up to see, if they would survive here, and it said yes, but obviously when we bought it in February, a little cold. So we planted him, and I put him in a westward window because at that time, the most sun comes in my house during the day from the west. We've named him Herkimer, and as you can tell, he's starting to I think he needs to go outside and get a lot more sun. This was just what I could do in February. So we're gonna move Herkimer outside. He is heavy, and it takes my husband really to move him, although I'm willing to help, but I can't move him myself because that's a pretty good sized pot and it's full. So obviously he is heavy. So anyway, those are the plants that I have inside. I forgot about one last plant, and this was my Mother's Day plant from my little one that I got yesterday. It is a miniature rose. I don't know a lot about it. I need to do some research. I'm not sure if it should be an indoor or an outdoor plant, so I'll keep you updated on what I decide to do with it. I just fired up Alexa, forgetting I was gonna do this. Okay, so here we have, this is a part shade type flower planter. So we have a Jurassic Junior Red Splash, which is this one. This guy here, actually, I'm sorry, it's that one. And I guess I've lost my tags for the other ones. And I don't honestly remember what they are. I thought I put the tags in there. I'm pretty good about that. I always stick them in just so I remember, because if I like the plant, I would like to find it, the next year. So anyway, these are the plants that I have, and a cute little puppy. Hi. Anyway, this is my shade plant. He was here last year, so it's a little bit different than what it was. But so here is my greenhouse, and I kind of gave you an update here recently. You know, I had put some plants in there, or some seeds to start growing. Well, one of them fell to the ground. Hold on. Okay, I opened up the greenhouse because goodness is it humid in here. Actually, both of them fell. So one was planted to oregano, one was planted to basil. Both of them fell. Then I emptied out, well, obviously one of them emptied out the soil for me. The other one I emptied the soil out, and I have replanted it. That is now sweet basil. So fingers crossed. I have weighted it down, which I don't really like what I did because it's going to kind of bend this because it's pretty flimsy. But I had to do something to keep it standing because that's what happened when those fell. The whole thing got blown over, I guess, because the wind caught it or whatever. So anyway, we're trying to start a whole packet of sweet basil because I honestly love basil and I can't get enough. And here on my patio, I still have some tomatoes. They are Jet Star that I need to get planted. I've never actually heard of this brand. It just looked good. So I don't know if it's a determinate or an indeterminate, but I bought them so that I could plant them in some of my new pots. My new pots are deep enough that even if even if they were indeterminate, I will still be able to stake them up and everything should be great. Now here we have two prints cut. My table's a little messy. It's kind of to collect all Sundays. Both of them have a broken piece, which is so sad. One is actually for my mother for Mother's Day. We just forgot to give it to her yesterday. The other one is mine. This one's mine, that one's Mom's. Mine hasn't been planted because I haven't figured out exactly where I want to plant it just yet. Over here, like I've said before, and I can't remember if it was in a video that I actually posted or not, this year I have gravitated toward purple. Like, purple is my favorite color, but by golly have I gravitated toward the purple. So we have these pretty purple petunias. Those aren't actually petunias, but you get the idea. We have a calla lily. Calla lilies are one of my husband's favorite flowers. We have a Dusty Miller here. This, I don't know what this is called, but he's my favorite. I love him. He is so quiggly and squirrely. Last year I bought a big one, and when I looked at the prices this year, I think I paid less than $4 a piece for the two littler ones, or it was $25 for the big one, and I could have actually bought 3 and made the size of the big one. So it just didn't make sense to me to buy the big one. So I bought 2, and I'm actually pretty happy with my purchase because I was able to kind of spread it out versus it taking up the whole thing. I got a new trellis that I have to decide exactly where I would like it. Plus I got a new water hose because my other hose is 3 years old, I believe, and it's finally starting to develop a leak. We don't want that. Nobody has time for that. I don't know if this actually lights up at night. It's supposed to, but I haven't actually seen it light up, but it's really pretty. Then we have more petunias and whatever the littler ones are. We have a daylily, which obviously he will go away. They're usually a spring, like May type spring flower. And then we have this hibiscus. It's actually a tree. Can't see. There it is. And then I bought some new solar lights because the ones that I had are actually, 5 years old now, and I've seen better days. So this is a planter here. So I have been tearing down planters, moving planters, changing planters. It's been a whole ordeal, actually. This planter is one that I planted in early spring. Those are violas. And then I believe this dude here is a perennial, but he was also a early spring, so that's why I think he looks like he does. There is a tag in there. It's for my mint, but I haven't actually planted mint. Mint is a very invasive herb. So whatever you plant it in, it is going to take over. If it touches the ground, it will take over the ground, that kind of thing. So you always want to plant mint and oregano. Both of them are very invasive. You want to plant them separately from anything else. So I haven't actually started mint, nor have I planted any. This is Greek oregano versus Italian oregano, and I don't really know what the difference is other than one's Greek and one's Italian. Sadly, these have kind of let me down. These are the green stalk planters, and they haven't done what I really was hoping that they would do. So I've been moving all the soil from them and putting it elsewhere and tearing them down. Now this one had 3 strawberry plants that came back, but as you notice, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pockets, and it was 5 tiers high, and every one of them was planted to strawberries. Last year, I had 3 strawberry plants come back or survive the winter. That's it. 3 out of 5 times 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 30. And actually I had more than just 30 because I had some planted in that one as well. 3 plants survived. That's not very good odds. So I tore it down, or I'm in the process, as you can see. Put some of the soil in here, and then I went ahead and I've topped this off with new soil. So what I did this time, I went to Menards. Menards tends to be my favorite place to go these days. Anyway, I bought some premium raised bed soil. I mixed in some compost manure. Yes, I bought manure. Yes, I have my own manure, but my manure here, it's actually horse manure, just so we can clarify. But the manure that I have access to is very weedy, and I'm so tired of weeds, and I know that I'm going to have to fight weeds, but if I start by planting weeds, well, that just sets me up for failure. So I bought some compost manure bags, and then I bought an all-purpose topsoil. There was actually a guy that I talked to at Menards, and he said that would be a very good combination, the 3, for basically planting anything that I might be planting. So back over here, my sage, this is sage that I planted last year, and it actually survived. Then I have a petunia here, a marigold there, and a petunia here. These are going to come out and go elsewhere. Right now, this is where they are, but they're getting ready to be transplanted somewhere else. Finally, in this area, I have the rosemary. Now, I'm going to tell you that I've been having a hard time finding a good rosemary this year. Everything has just looked terrible, and I know it's early May. Maybe there'll be something a little better later, but for right now, what I've been able to find, I haven't had much luck. Then up here, I have a hanging planter. This is supposedly red, white, and purple, but it's supposed to be kind of patriotic. And he just doesn't look like he's doing well. Here in a little bit, I'm going to come through and I'm going to fertilize all of these. We're all deadheaded too. But, I mean, he was a lot bigger and a lot prettier when I first put him up here. Usually, or last year, I can't say usually, because last year was the first year I had a hanging basket here. This one thrived, and for some reason, it's just kind of meh right now. Finally, on my patio, there's this planter. Now this was, if you watched the one video that I posted, this is actually $5. I paid $5 for it. It was on clearance at Walmart, and it is like doing magnificent. So I had a planter here last year that was strictly petunias. This has other flowers mixed into it because it was one of those, it all comes in a pot and it's ready to just be repotted kind of plants. And this one, so it has different things mixed into it. But I mean, this dude is thriving, and all the petunias that were here last year, they thrived just as well. So there's something about right here. I don't know if it's the way the sun hits it most of the day and then it gets afternoon shade, so it's not just in the heat of the day, or what. But man, that thing's doing very well. And when I planted it there, it wasn't in terrible shape, but like I said, it was clearance, and usually clearance, they're kind of on their last leg. Now, everything that I've bought, especially clearance, when I planted it with bone meal. And bone meal is supposed to help promote very good root growth. So maybe that helped. I don't know. So this is Miss Moo. Miss Moo has been planted to lavender. Miss Moo is actually my daughter's planter, and she probably was upset if she realized that I planted it, but I needed somewhere to go with the lavender, and I just thought it would look really pretty here in Miss Moo. Probably I'm gonna have to come in and repaint Miss Moo. Starting to look a little rusty and whatever, but Miss Moo is a cow, if you can't tell. I have been fighting my dogs. I don't know how many times I've cleaned my patio, and they keep just dragging all kinds of crap up here. So it's kind of a losing battle at this point. I'm not really sure about this planter. I don't know if I have it in the right place or not. However, I can tell you that these were also clearance petunias. I paid $2.50 for them, and they are thriving. They apparently love where they're at. Then we have the elephant ear, and we have some Dusty Miller. I'm not done planting this particular pot. I just haven't decided what else I want to put in this particular pot. We have this hanging basket. Now, this hanging basket was bought at the same time, same place as the other hanging basket. I do have to say it is doing better. Now, last year, the hanging pot that was here did horrible, so I don't know what the difference is. It's funny because it's a lot more full on this side than it is on this side. This side gets morning sun, the other one gets kind of that half shaded, half full sun, because it's getting the shade from the clear roof. Now, right here we have the darker roof, and then it goes clear over there. The reason we did that is because we put kind of that more tinted roof here because we're cooking. This is right over our cooking kitchen, and we just wanted a little shade. If we were ever to redo the roof, we would probably do the darker tint that lets in the sun, but gives a little shade all the way across. That's just hindsight 2020, and you know, my 2 cents worth on that. I have 2 pots here. These are funny. This one usually has an Aussie laying in it. He's not in it right now. Right now he's laying under our boat. We recently got a pontoon. Long story, but anyway. He has, as you can see, dug out all the dirt. Soil, sorry. Sorry, Dr. James, it's soil. Anyway, I will not put more soil into this pot until my oldest is ready to plant this pot, because otherwise the Aussie will dig more out. He will not get into the beds, thankfully, that have flowers in them, but the ones that don't have anything, man, they're fair game. Now, the sad thing is this one actually had some perennials in it that probably would have come back, but he decided to dig into it and lay in it, and therefore, not gonna happen. This one, my little one planted. Now, this was a perennial, and it came back, and at first I almost thought it was a weed, but the more I've paid attention, it is actually a flower. I'm just not sure what kind. That is a dahlia. Of course, then we have the petunias and whatever the littler looking petunia things are, and then that mounding perennial right there peeking out. She wanted something kind of right there, but I kept telling her that this is early spring, and that an annual flower will burst, whereas a perennial takes a year to kind of establish its roots, and then year 2 it bursts. So I was like, you need to leave room for all of these things to have room to grow. In that pot back there, we're still not done with our outdoor kitchen. Life has been challenging. So anyway, please ignore. That back pot, it actually had a clematis planted into it. However, the clematis is not doing anything. The clematis did have a warranty on it, but anyway, as you can see, there's a clematis here that is climbing up my little bitty windmill, and you're thinking, oh, well, that one burst. Oh, no. It didn't do anything either, and I actually bought a clematis that is doing well, and I'm training it to go up, and it's even taking off and going up more than last I knew, so that's exciting and fun. Then we have the violas that I planted early spring. That's my mounding perennial, like the one my little one has. And that thing I bought either in 20 or 21, and it is lilies that are getting very close to popping. I've moved both of my trucks. One Both of them were in the front of the house 2 years ago. Last year I moved the red truck to the back of my house and the blue truck was still in the front. This year I've moved both of them. They're not actually in their forever spot. I've moved them. I haven't figured out where the forever spot is. We left some not ceiling tiles, but shingles up on our roof, and we've had some really windy weather and the wind blew them down. And I piled them here, which is kind of a pain in my butt because it is in the wrong spot. The red truck is planted to, I can't remember what they're called. Anyway, it was planted to whatever these flowers are last year. And then I bought these petunias. These actually came in a single pot and they are almost taking over that whole truck. I hope that the pot there is big enough. I may have to transplant. Then for Mother's Day, I got a bunch of new raised beds. This actually was made for someone else, but the guy never showed up to pick it up. So the guy who made them sold it to us at a discounted price just because he wanted to move it. And I was okay with that. I went through and I clear coated them. So they're cedar and they smell amazing, but I clear coated them just to kind of keep the color and make them gorgeous. That's what I pretty much spent all day Saturday doing, was finishing the clear coat on all of these so that I could go ahead and get the soil put into them and get things planted into them. So I have 4 sage. These actually moved out of the green stock, all of these herbs, other than a couple that came out of some pots. So we have sage, we have thyme, we have chives, which I would like to go ahead and start more chives and plant them or something. And then the original basil I bought simply so that I would have basil. I've tried propagating basil, and you're supposed to be able to tear it apart and put it, I'm getting roots. Look at that. So exciting. I'll let it sit in there a little longer and get a little more roots, and then we'll go ahead and plant it into the soil. I bought a eucalyptus because I just thought, he's cool. I don't know much about eucalyptus, but it was fun. And then, of course, the parsley. Now, to keep herbs going, you actually have to use them. So I'm going to have to come in here and at least trim him back so that he will keep producing. And then I bought some oregano. This is the Italian oregano, and I need more, obviously. So one of the pots that dumped out, this is either has oregano leaves or seeds, or it had the basil seeds, and I don't even know which one was which. So I just dumped it in here. I don't really see the seeds taking off, but we'll see what happens. Then we have another little bitty lavender here, and then these two had basil that I transplanted over here. We've been working on residing my house for 2 years now, I think, which is really sad. It's a long story and we're just not even going to get into it. This was a rose. It started coming back because I had trimmed it back so that we could work on the house, and then we didn't work on the house, and then when we started working on the house, they cut it back again. It looks like it's gonna go ahead and put out some new shoots, but if it doesn't, well, I won't be too upset because at least one of these days my house will be resided. This pot here is kind of a collect-all. It's just been collecting crap, as you can tell. When we pulled the siding off the house was covered in ants. I don't know what happened. So that's why we have the ant roach killer, and it took a couple of those to kill off all the ants that were in this house. It was kind of scary. And what's really sad is we actually pay to have somebody come in and spray our house, and they spray around the inside, the outside, everything for bugs, and I don't know. So anyway, this pot probably will not get planted this year until we already have, all the siding put back on the house, because everybody keeps dropping stuff in my flower pots and it's really starting to upset me. This one doesn't have anything in it either, although I have to tell you that this one has never really done very well right here, and that may be partially my fault and it may not be. We had that one last year that I had a mum in. It right now just has weeds in it. So the mum isn't coming back. I'm gonna have to pull the weeds, otherwise nothing is there. Here I bought some new planters. They're big tall ones that you put on either side of your door, and I put some violas in them. Then everybody started piling crap on them. I have found a skill saw. I have found this tub right here Of course, I put the weed eater across it, but they can still grow with the weed eater across it. But I mean, they were putting all the heavy tools in it, so I don't really have high hopes for this one or that one, to be honest with you. This is my 2020 mum. We always look at him. He's so pretty. This year he's going a little bit of a different shape, and I'm not sure why, but I don't mind it. Maybe he'll fill out. But who knows? We will wait and see. This is one of my new flower beds, and we planted it, or we didn't, I did. So I bought a whole bunch of clearance petunias. Like everybody, I don't know, I paid $1 and it'd come with 6 per $1. So I was like, ooh, I'll take my chances. So anyway, we have Roma tomatoes here, petunias, tomatoes, petunias, tomatoes. I put in the pollinating flowers to try and attract the pollinators. Yes, this is the front of my house. Yes, this is probably not ideal for tomatoes, but I had to go somewhere, and I had to put the bed somewhere where it was out of the way. And right here, it's kind of in the way because we're gonna have to reside my house, but at the same time, it's out of the way. Then I have the violas in that pot, and of course, tearing down, I already tore down one of those, tearing down the other one now. And then we have the Arctic Fire dogwood. Now, there's been a whole conversation about this poor Arctic Fire dogwood because it almost takes up the whole front portion of this house because, again, it is a perennial, and perennials will blossom and bloom. There are actually 2 plants that got planted here, and they were planted almost on top of each other. I never expected them to take off this well and be this huge. So what is the controversy? Well, the controversy is because they are so big that they will actually sit there and rub on the side of the house. So I came in and I've trimmed it back so it's not even close to the side of my house. But every year I'm gonna have to do that. One of my friends told me I really should take it out, but I like the dude so much that I just can't. This one got taken all the way to the ground and it's coming back. Now, my air conditioner, as you can see, is dripping water. And man, it's just watering that thing and that thing is taking off. So it's pretty cool. This poor pot is kind of in the wrong spot because of the whole residing of my house. So is that rose. And I have a feeling that rose might get taken out yet again, but we'll come to that when the time comes. So this pot is nothing but weeds, but there is a reason for it. And then I have this hibiscus. Now, if you remember 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I stole, quote unquote stole, some of the hibiscus shoots from my mom. It's one of those that you can transplant them. This is the only one still coming back. Everything else has had so much crap piled on them because of my house residing. That was the sheriff. I hope everything is all right. Anyway, this is the only one that's kind of out of, it's still in a bad spot, but he hasn't had a ladder thrown on him. The other 2 have had ladders, and one of them had an air conditioner placed on it and whatever. So I don't really have high hopes for them to come back, but this one is, so that's always fun and exciting. And if eventually I wanted to transplant again, all I have to do is cut off a little bit of this and transplant it, because that's what I did for these. So because everything is so up in the air right now, I still have 2 flower boxes that I don't know where to go with. I have enough soil to go ahead and fill one of them, but again, I don't know where to put them so that they are out of the way, and I'm not really sure what to plant in them because, again, I just don't know where to put them. So they're kind of sitting here in limbo. I have this hanging basket, and I have this hanging basket, both of which were $1 flowers because they were in the clearance. The other one's doing a little bit better, but I think it actually had more flowers in it. But I have been watering them and deadheading them, and they're starting to thrive, so I have high hopes. Again, we have more $1 clearance petunias. All I have to do is a little TLC, and they seem to be thriving pretty well. So we'll get them planted up hopefully today and see what happens. So this planter box has, in the past, it has been planted to basil, but for now it is planted to jalapenos and what was the other one? Oh yeah, cayenne peppers. That jalapeno right there does not look well, neither does that one. So I got to figure out what's wrong with them. But then I came in. Now, I'm fighting my dogs on this because there were 4 plants planted here, and as you can see, they've already dug up 2 here. Maybe the cats also, I don't know. I had one there that got stripped of its leaves, and I've had one there that got stripped of its leaves, so they're dying. But I came in and I planted these peppers, and of course then we have the garlic. Garlic is doing fairly well. It took me a while to keep the cats out of the garlic and the dogs out of the garlic bed when I first planted it, but it's surviving for the most part. And then this is my husband's bed. He really likes the Prince Tut, so I bought one of those. I actually think the one that I bought the other day at Menards is a whole lot better than the one I bought at the local greenhouse. And then we have elephant ears. Finally, we have the mailbox. The mailbox was part of a Mother's Day present, more so maybe for my mother-in-law than for me, because her mailbox wouldn't even stay closed, and now it will. But I came in and I sealed it with the clear coat to keep it that real pretty color and show off the cedar, and then I planted it to petunias. And if I remember right, those were clearance petunias as well. Now here's the sad fact of the matter. This is the garden. It is weeds. I have torn it out. I have burned it off twice, and it's back to being weeds again. We did come through here recently and we sprayed some weed killer on it. So because of that, it's not quite as bad. And if I come through with the weed eater, I think I can kind of get it under control. Fact of the truth is, this is not going to be a garden this year. It's sad, but it's true. So hopefully I can work on it all summer and I'll have it ready to go for next year. And for some reason, my phone keeps shutting off because that's what I'm recording on at this moment. So hopefully all that got recorded. I planted, I think my phone is just overheating, and so that's why it's shutting off. I planted asparagus here, and asparagus is one of those, it's not an immediate result, so, but it is coming back even after being burned off. So that's kind of fun and interesting. So anyway, this is the garden as it stands.